expectations of what I can accomplish as a comedian have both already surpassed what I thought I was capable of and are very far from what I want. I can't believe that I've landed in New York City and have the chance to perform on stage for strangers regularly. And now I also want, a pilot, and I want an award, and I want the world. So it depends on which mountain I feel like climbing that day. Sometimes I'm at the top of one, and sometimes I'm not even beginning. And if you ask me, sometimes when I struggle, sometimes when I'm trying to figure out where I am in life and if I'm feeling good or bad about it, I talk to my 15-year-old self and see how she feels. And if I were to tell her some of the things that I've been able to do and some of the people I've been able to meet, she is completely floored. And that makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. And then when I talk to my 25-year-old self, she's like, Ma, work harder, do better, what are you doing? So it really depends. My expectations, I couldn't imagine wanting as much as I want now, and I also can't imagine having done as much as I've done. The last time I felt overwhelmed was probably this morning, or like 5 minutes ago, or right now. I think that is the nature of being a creative artist. If you're not overwhelmed, you're probably not working hard enough. If you think you're done with your art, then you're not an artist. That's not how it works. It's not, I did this thing and there it is, and it's a job. You want to grow with it, you want to change in it, you want to hit the CEO of your own art. There are a lot of struggles that I think come with being an artist in general and a comedian as well. And at the top of that list is insecurity. I feel like everyone has a constant battle of, am I good enough? Am I allowed to do this? That's something I think of all the time, where I feel like I need the permission from someone to say, yes, Jamie, you are funny. You may now show people that. Because you sitting around saying, gee, I hope I'm funny, or I hope I'm good at this, or I hope I'm good at that. I'm sure that's common to everybody, not just artists, but there's always a fear of, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm not meant to do this? What if this thing that I'm working for and putting my everything into is crap? That's a huge struggle, let alone just breaking into an industry that's not there for the taking. No one's really looking to sign up artists for anything. No one says we need more, we need more musicians, more painters, and we need to make an industry to pay them for their work and praise them for their work. I think one of the biggest struggles is insecurities, and the rest is finding the space to do what you want to do with the freedom that you want to be able to do it. Because most artists are under either financial constraints, time constraints, life constraints that are just more pressing and more necessary in terms of getting by than taking the year to sit in your studio and produce, or to write or perform or whatever. The things that I doubt about myself are, of course, I hope I'm funny. Nothing's worse than cracking yourself up and then no one else laughing, which I think regularly happens to me. I wonder if I have the spine to get through this, because it's a long road, and intellectually I know that, but my heart just wants it now and right away, and wants validation that I'm moving towards something. And I've heard that when it comes to art, you have to be okay with incremental success. It's not going to come in the form of a certificate or a degree necessarily. You're not going to get your master's and then that means you get X, Y, and Z job. You have to know that you are growing. And I think I struggle with that. Sometimes I look around and wonder if I've done anything different since I started. And I have, but sometimes it depends on what kind of day it is. Some days it's the whole world is ahead of you, and some days it's a whole world to be lost in, and it just depends on which side of the bed you wake up in that day. I want to know that I have what it takes, and I don't know if there's a way to know that now, besides just hoping. And that's hard, because I think it's an industry where it's a lot of, I hope this works out. It's being creative and being an artist, there's a lot up in the air. That's like a scary thing sometimes. Criticism is hard. No one likes to feel like what they're putting themselves into isn't working. And it depends on what kind of criticism. There's the kind of criticism, constructive criticism, which is, this is something that you can do to do better. And then there's the kind of criticism where it's just, you're not good and you shouldn't do this. And of course the latter hurts a lot more. I think that I have turned a corner in the past year of being able to say, okay, not everything is always going to go my way, and what do I need to do to be able to handle it better in the future? Because there is a huge part of me that is just like, why don't I just get a 9 to 5 and watch reality TV in the evenings and like get a dog? Why not just do that? And then you think, well, if that's what I wanted, I could do that. It's a lot harder to follow your dreams, I think, and it's a lot harder to take the road less traveled. Not that there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5 and watching TV. That's completely awesome. But, I just have to remember, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What is my dream? And would I ever forgive myself if I didn't try right now? And no, I wouldn't. I'd have to. So, how do I handle criticism? I eat ice cream. And then I just hope I feel better the next day. I am constantly inspired by New York City. I am always reminded that I am lucky, that I'm in the center of the universe, that I'm in the place where everything is happening. And for me, it's where I've always wanted to be. It's not the way it is with every 20-something in America. Not every 20-something's dream is to be in New York City. It happens to be mine. And so it helps keep me going. When I'm feeling distraught or sad, it's nice to be able to look at the skyline and say, hey, wait a minute, you're exactly where you wanted to be, at exactly the age you wanted to be there, in the best time of your life, and we're not done. We're 20-something. So to be in New York City, to be in the center of the planet, for me, at that age, always helps. It hurts when it's raining and you've lost your Metro card and you have a lot to carry and a homeless guy wants to talk to you, but, it would also be a shame if you got a flat tire in Indiana. You take it for what it is, and for me it's just a constant inspiration and a constant reminder that I'm doing something right. So more than anything, the city inspires me than gets in my way. To be a 20-something, I think, is very crazy. I think one of the things that we have working against us right now is we are being told by ourselves and by media and by the generations above us that we are ignorant, that we don't understand what it used to be like to be 20-something, and that we live in a world where things are either handed to us or sugar-coated, or I don't know, I feel like there's this persona that we're all floundering all the time. And like, we probably are, but we're not idiots either. And so it's a tricky thing, because I feel like we are taught that we are screwing up because we're not working towards that thing, and we don't know what that thing is, and how frustrating, and we must be failing. And yeah, you need a thing, but you're confident and you're capable and you're brave and you're 20-something and you'll bounce. And I think that we need to stop telling ourselves that we don't know what's going on because we're wild and crazy kids, because we do. We're just in a transitional phase that wasn't there maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And I think it's a really exciting time. It's a really confusing time. But, as long as you don't mix up confusing for failing, you'll make it. You'll get through.